genre.
Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who, The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cass Fredrickson.
Today on the show, we'll be discussing The Sea Devils, the Third Doctor's 12th story.
Yeah. So, The Sea Devils. This is, I guess, well, so my first question about this, and I don't know if either of you remember, did the Sea Devils talk like this in Legend of the Sea Devils?
Boy, oh boy.
I can't
don't
remember
know.
what they sounded like.
Called out.
Yeah. I literally can't remember.
I mean, like, how else could they sound, you know?
I don't know, because the Silurians sound like that too in the Silurians, but then like in modern Who, they just sound like regular people.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
they kind of are Silurians a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you know, I don't think they were like lower register, right?
I'm just trying to prepare myself for how annoying the war between the land and the sea is going to be.
And so
The only thing I remember about that episode was being mad at the last 5 minutes, so I don't know.
is the
Yeah.
frustration. My friend Natalie, she couldn't get through the last Planet of the Apes movie just because she had a fundamental. She's like, I didn't like the way they talked.
Wow.
I was like, get on with it.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you
That's
go.
funny.
So the Sea Devils. This is, let's see, this was originally aired between the 26th of February 1972 and the 1st of April. And it was written by Malcolm Hulke and directed by Michael Bryant. Malcolm Hulke, who just before this, he was the writer of the Silurians, and he was an uncredited rewriter on Ambassadors of Death, but most recently he wrote Colony in Space for the Third Doctor, which is a story we all thought was okay.
Boring. Yeah.
But, you know, Ambassadors of Death is great, Silurians is great, and this being, of course, the Barry Letts era of the show. You know, he came to Malcolm Hulke and was like, hey, kind of want you to do a sequel to the Silurians. And he decided like to do this. And so they were like, well, okay, so the Silurians were underground. So how about we do a sequel with a different species of Silurian who are under water? And so the Sea Silurians was born, which was the title of this episode all the way up till they started shooting.
Wow.
Yeah. These were like, they were meant to literally be like sea Silurians, like just like, you know, like how there's tree Navi and there's water Navi and lava Navi. Yeah, that's what they were going for here. So this was going to be the Sea Silurians for a very long time. And I think the reason that they changed the title was because of how much criticism they received for the title, the Silurians, because they were around when apes were around, because they commented on that, and people were like, well, wait a minute, human beings and apes, they weren't around during the Silurian period of prehistory, so why are they called Silurians? And so they were just like, you know what? Let's not poke that bear again. So that's why they ended up just calling it the Sea Devils. Let's see. So this was also going to be the return of Roger Delgado as the Master, who hasn't been in the Third Doctor era since the Demons, which was part of the previous season, which was the second season of Pertwee, which was like, oops, all Master. And everybody was like, maybe every episode was a mistake. And so they put him on ice for a while and decided people like him, so he should still come back. We just want to, keep a little mystery about whether or not he's going to show up. And so they finally bring him back in this one, and he's right where they left him, which was arrested and in prison. And so that's why this one starts with them checking in on him, and his main plot seems to basically be to escape from prison, and everything else in the story is a distraction. So they made a deal with the Navy, having previously made a deal with the Army and the Royal Air Force for the invasion and the Mind of Evil, respectively. They turned to the Royal Navy for the Sea Silurians, and wanted them to take part, and they agreed, which is why they got all the fancy boats and submarines and uniforms and stuff in this one. And let's see what else. So this is mostly a location episode. It was going to be super cold when they were filming this, and because it was on water, Barry Letts was like, that seems like a mistake. So he bumped The Curse of Peladon to be shot after this, because that was going to be on sets, and bumped this a little earlier so it would be a little warmer for everybody when they were shooting it. Let's see. Roger Delgado has hydrophobia, which I guess John Pertwee would relentlessly make fun of him over, and is also why, while originally scripted to be speedboats, it was Pertwee's idea to change the chase sequence in the final episode to jet skis, which apparently that's what jet skis look like in the 70s. They weren't like motorcycles. But changed it to jet skis because he's like, let's get him on a jet ski. And then he was like, no, I'm not going to get on a jet ski. So there's a stunt double that looks nothing like Roger Delgado, basically like turning back like the entire time with his face away from the camera. The entire chase sequence, he's just like looking back at the Doctor so that you can't tell that it's not Roger Delgado on the jet ski. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it was kind of an open and shut case on this one. Nothing too crazy.
It's cool that they got like military funding, like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the military loves that, They love it. They're like, oh yeah, you want to make the propaganda for us? Absolutely. Go ahead. Use whatever you want. So yeah. This one, I don't know what you guys think, but I find this one to be kind of an odd duck in terms of entertainment value, because from a plot standpoint, there's really not a lot going on here, and it feels very repetitive, but like there was not a second that I wasn't entertained. Like it was like, I feel like they took like a really kind of bland, boring part and really like made the most of every scene where they're like, it really felt like there was like, this scene's kind of boring. How about she brings in a plate of cheese sandwiches and I take it away from Joe and then eat it myself and offer it to everyone around the room except for her, while like also like delivering all of this boring exposition just to keep the scene alive, and it just felt like every scene was like that in this. So I was very entertained by the whole thing, even if when I take a step back and look at the story as a whole, I'm like, but it's like, it's just so entertaining. I don't know. What did you guys think? Cass, how was revisiting this one?
I think it definitely like most of these, suffers from 6-episode syndrome. But I mean, I've said before, like, this episode has like my favorite Pertwee sequence in it, like out of the entire era.
There's
I'm sure
so
you know.
many good ones, though. There's
I couldn't
even begin to guess which one it is because
Seriously?
because they're all so good. There's
Okay.
there's karate chopping sea Silurians. There's putting blindfolded,
Yeah.
and then whipping off the blindfold and being like, "Yes, you rang." Like, I mean, it's just loaded to the gills with like. It's the first time he ever says, "I reversed the polarity of the neutron flow." I mean, this is just loaded to the gills with excellent Pertwee shit.
The gills, Scott?
Yes, indeed. You think they have gills?
I don't know.
I don't know. either.
But like, yeah, no, like it's at once very bare bones, but also like extremely convoluted for like no reason.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy how like campy, like creature feature the Silurians look. Every time the camera's in their stupid little face, I laugh. And I think Pertwee and Joe both are like in peak form in this one. So I don't know. I had fun.
Their stupid emotionless faces.
with those dramatic like SNL the Californians level close-ups on them.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to echo. I echo aspects of what both of you have said. I do think there were seconds of this where I wasn't entertained, where I was a little like, this is a little dry. This is a little rudimentary. Episode 3 in particular is kind of a black hole for me. But for whatever, but that could just be like Cass said, just a symptom of the 6th episode. There is going to be, you are going to hit a crash at some point. But when it popped, when you did have those moments of camp and fun and style, it was like everything I love about this era of the show done the best that it's been.
Yeah. I definitely agree about episode 3, but for some reason, like, I just really love Trenchard. Like, I just loved his whole vibe. Just this lovable little goofball doing his best. I loved him. just puttering around a prison.
He's complicated.
Trying to be best friends with his BFF, the master. I don't know. There was just something about him that I really, really vibed with.
That's fair.
Yeah, I was sad to see him go and be replaced by that other guy that just really likes toast.
He was good because while Trenchard was like, for a classic Doctor Who episode, pretty like nuanced, that dude was just like a dick. Just you were in the episode for you to hate him.
Yeah, yeah. I also really miss Brigadier. I'll say that.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like what are we doing, guys? Like, how is the Brigadier not in this episode? Like, I just feel like, I mean, he's the one who fucking blew up the Silurians. Like he should be in the sequel, right?
What if he had shown up Han Solo style?
but like reverse Han Solo, where he blows them up, and the Doctor's just like, God damn it, not again!
Yes.
What is it with you? Anyway, I guess let's we keep calling out particular moments, so let's just go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, sure. I think you keep unintentionally making puns, and it's my favorite thing. So episode 1 begins with a naval ship under attack from some unspecified creature. There's like a green hand that is like menacingly in the background, which is pretty funny. And the third Doctor and Joe are basically they're visiting an island prison where the Master is the only prisoner. It's like a high security, like, oh my God, what's the
Alcatraz?
prison? Yes, thank you.
Yeah. It's
like
British
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you may say to yourself, isn't that Australia? And which I'll say a long time ago it was, but not now. Now it's this place.
So it's on a remote island. It's basically like a high security castle. They visit the master. The doctor warns the warden, I guess, Trenchard, that the master's like a slippery fellow. Like, you know, he uses hypnotism and all of this sort of stuff. So we basically have like a scene. I love the master's like prison loungewear. The black thing with like the sparkly buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm obsessed with that outfit. He basically is like, oh, the master, like the doctor. I've turned over a new leaf. Like solitary confinement is making me see the error of my ways.
I gotta be perfectly honest. Like this sort of Hannibal Lecter style look at the master is like extremely my shit. Like I could vibe with this being like an ongoing like master storyline for like a season where he's like the doctor just has to keep coming and visiting the master in a prison cell in space.
Slowly chipping away at the doctor's psyche with each visit, the way that Hannibal kind of toys with Clarice.
Yes. God, that would be so good. I would love that so much. Especially if he still, like, every time the doctor leaves, like, asks the warden for a new television or whatever.
Can I please have a new television?
Color this time.
Is it episode 1 where he's watching the kids show?
Yeah.
Because, like...
Sure is. That's toward the end, but yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so they basically, the doctor and Joe leave.
He's like making noises along with them.
He's like whistling.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I love these guys. They're a lot of fun. They're like, that's a children's show. Oh. And then he turns it off in disgust.
So the doctor and Joe leave. The person who gave them a boat ride over to the island mentions that there are ships that keep disappearing. So the doctor goes to investigate that. And as soon as they leave, it's basically revealed that this Trenchard guy is working for the master. And they're in league, and the master is like, yes, the master's like he's tinkering with some machine.
Yeah. We don't know why he's in cahoots with the master yet, though.
Right.
Yeah.
The doctor pays this guy who owns this boat money to steal the boat, and then he goes to this he turns up at the naval base, right? On the island. There's like a top secret naval base where he turns up. And the captain in charge of the naval base is not impressed with the doctor just showing up.
They never are.
And he is basically like asking questions about these missing ships. Joe eventually catches up with him. And then they're basically like dismissed, but then like they find out about this sea fort that's being refurbished for some purpose. So they steal the boat again, and they like go out to sea. And they arrive at the sea fort to find the two. I don't know why there's only 2 guys in this big thing, by the way. It just seems like very silly. Yeah. So they go to the sea fort to find that one of the 2 like repair guys has been killed. And then there's like a heavy breathing, and then like that's how the episode ends. Am I?
Do you think when they're hiring those 2 positions, like one of you's got to be a stout fat guy, and one of you's got to be a really reedy skinny guy? You always have to compliment each other.
Yeah, it's required. Did they play poker in this episode? Is that?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, they were playing poker.
I like that too.
But yeah,
I
it's like
these guys.
it's the hand, right? Is it the last image that we see?
Yeah.
It's
No, it's just Joe hearing breathing.
Mm.
Being like,
Oh,
"There's
yeah, that's right.
There's something in here with us."
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. There's a moment where there's a moment where the doctor like body shames the master, like when he looks in on his cell.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, he's gained weight." Fucker. Like he just it was just like
So out of
really
pocket.
funny.
First thing he says when he sees him.
Yeah. I was just like, he's just so bitchy to the master in this one. It's really funny.
So something I was thinking about the entire time I was watching this, which I think made the viewing like funnier to me. Norman a couple days ago mentioned a Tumblr post he saw where it was a picture of 3 and the master, and someone was just like, "Oh, are they lovers?" And someone else was just like, "No, worse." And I
Yeah.
I love them so much.
It's so good.
No, I mean they're the beating heart of this whole serial. The two of them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, there's some A grade shit in here because it doesn't feel like the master is placed here as an afterthought, which are always the best master stories.
Honestly, ironically, it's the Sea Devils that feel more like an afterthought compared.
That's very true. It's very true. Clearly not where Malcolm Hulk's interest lay.
Which is funny because like he invented the Silurians, right? So
yeah, but like I don't know, like people, I feel like a lot of writers back then really like stuck their nose up at the idea of sequels to anything. You know, where they're just like, I already said everything I had to say in the first one. I'm not going to make another one. You know, it was like how sequels back then would cost half as much, like the budget would be half as much as like the first one. Because they were like, well, it's guaranteed to fail. Well, then why are you making it? You know,
they were seen as trashy.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, but episode 2 has the master in a captain's hat, and now we're fucking talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on the sea fort, the doctor and Joe, they find this poor crewman who's like ranting and raving about seeing a quote sea devil, which is really funny that that's just what they're called now because this guy like saw one kill his buddy. So they are trying to calm him down. The doctor goes to find a radio that works because the sea devil like ruined the comms. And he like walks down the hallway and sees one of these creatures, which you just have to see them for yourself because like I don't know how to describe what these things look like.
You know, for some there's a pensive quality to them. There's a kind of reflective. They look a little bit more melancholy than your average Doctor Who baddie.
That's
I think
true.
it's the eyes.
The eyes.
They look like they look like Admiral Akbar's like like cousin who just got back from like some sort of retreat and is like real like chilled out.
They wear like netting. Like their clothing is like a fish net, which is like really strange.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like a mix between a hospital gown and like a cult robe. They're also, this is a little specific, but they also kind of look like the generic background fish in SpongeBob.
Yes. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So sea devils.
Definitely. Sea devils.
So the doctor basically sees one of these things, says like, I don't want to hurt you. And then it pulls out like this round disc it's kind of like a gun. So then the doctor like turns around and runs away. And then he like rigs up the metal door so that it basically like I think it either like it might electrocute this thing to buy them time while he is trying to get in contact with anybody to come get them. Meanwhile, Trenchard and the Master are up to no good. So the Master like dresses up like a naval captain, and they like go to the same naval base that the Doctor and Joe were at. The Doctor and Joe are basically they just happen to the captain like sends out a rescue helicopter to look for them. And they arrive at the base around the same time that Trenchard and the Master do.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe spots the Master. He like steals equipment for some reason. We don't know why yet. The Doctor and Joe go back to the prison to confront Trenchard about it. And he's like, well, I don't know. Like, the Master's been here the whole time. The Doctor goes to talk to the Master. The Master pulls a gun on the Doctor. The Doctor shuts the door in the Master's face. And then there is my favorite Pertwee sequence of all time. A sword fight ensues.
Mm-hmm.
During which the Doctor pauses, eats a sandwich, taunts the Master, and then continues. It's my favorite thing in the world.
He doesn't just continue. He wins the fight when he eats the sandwich. And then he was like, all right, let's go for another round, and tosses him his sword back. Yeah. And then beats him again.
And then the episode ends when the Master throws a knife at the Doctor's head.
Yeah. Yeah. Great episode out. I thought they must go back to this moment all the time in their heads.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the moment was so good that they just replay the entire thing at the beginning of the next episode.
I'm so glad I got to see it twice.
Like, run it back.
You know what? Let's just run this whole thing again.
That's kind of how I can tell that like they don't have a lot of material when like they like stretch out and replay.
Yeah.
Man, it would have been really cool. I know we weren't, this wouldn't be the Doctor Who way, but if the Doctor had caught the knife, flipped it around in one hand and threw it back, and then it like and then hits the Master in like the shoulder or something.
Oh man,
that would have been great.
Yeah, I mean, basically the only thing that happens in the third episode is like the Master being like, I'm going to use those sea guys to conquer the planet. And the Doctor's like, no, you're not. And then Trenchard is like, I thought I was helping my country. And they're like, well, you're not. And he was like, oh. And then that's kind of it. Like, he builds his little machine that pulls the Silurian out of the ocean. And then there's like a minefield, literally a minefield, and a bunch of guys with guns and the Silurians, and the Doctor's like, and then a cliff behind him. So the Doctor's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to go.
Episode 3 does have a really funny Joe moment that reminds me of like the Doctor and Donna, because she's like, the Doctor gets captured and then she like evades capture, and she just like appears in the window. They like, she mouths a bunch of things and the Doctor's just like, okay. And then like she like comes to spring him from his handcuffs. They take out the guard together and run. And I'm like, man, this is so good.
Yeah, that is really good.
I found some enjoyment. There's kind of a fun little reversal of now the Doctor is the one who's been captured and the Master is the jailer. And it's like this fun of getting to see like these two lovers, go back and forth.
Worse.
Well, yeah, worse. You know who I liked in this story, kind of underappreciated? I liked the ensemble. Every little minor character was like Blythe, the secretary. I thought she was cool.
The secretary is like the MVP.
Yeah. She's so cool.
Yeah. She's really good.
And you're so mad at that asshole when he's like, "Go get me some toast. Go get me some papers. Go get me some eggs. Go get me some coffee." Yeah. Okay, fuck you.
Here's my coat. Why are you still here? Get out of here.
Where's my toast?
Is there more toast?
I finished the toast you gave me. I want more toast.
Yeah, so let's just skip right to episode 4, which is like episode 4 is like the big prison break episode, right?
Yeah, yes.
Well,
I mean, they already escaped.
Sorry.
They already escaped prison, so like.
No. I mean, like when the sea devils like attack.
They come out of the water onto the beach.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and they attack the prison and kill Trenchard. Right, that's episode 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Trenchard was a real one.
Sonic Screwdriver mentioned. He uses the sonic screwdriver to like blow up mines in the minefield.
Yeah.
And then this one poor sea devil like screams and like runs back into the water.
Yeah. He's like blowing up mines right in front of him, like Sideshow Bob and the rakes. Like,
yeah.
Every time he turns, he blows up a mine in front of him until he finally, just retreats back into the ocean.
That's another thing about the Sea Devils is I felt like Gollum. I felt great pity, like a wretched sort of pity for them throughout a lot of this.
Yeah.
Just because the noises they would make would be just so like wretched.
You wretched beasts.
Episode 4 is...
I'm just picturing that Mad Men meme of like Nick being like, "I feel sorry for you," and the Silurian John Hamm being like, "I don't think about you at all."
Just a fish head on John Hamm's body.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then, but in episode 4, this is when the Doctor does his diving mission. We learned the Doctor's diving certified.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the submarine is introduced.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor goes down in like a diving bell. Is that what that's called?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Diving bell. Yeah.
Because there's a submarine that's gone missing. And he wants to take a look at the seafloor, and there's a great shot of the Doctor like on the seafloor alone in this little capsule, and then like there's this like a sea devil head in the window.
Yeah.
And the Doctor is like mid radio when he like he's like talking to the ship, and like it like cuts off, so they pull him back up, and then the diving capsule's empty. And the Doctor's gone missing.
Well,
that diving bell is so small, it has to be so awkwardly shot that like it's not very clear what the hell just happened.
Right. From my perspective, because like 4 ends with Joe looking up at the capsule, but we don't see what she sees, and she like gasps, and then it's like boom, credits, ooey. And then episode 5 starts, and she turns around and goes back to Captain Hart, and she's like, "He's gone.
It's empty.
It's empty." But like for a second, I'm like, are we supposed to imagine that like, did he like explode? Like, is he gonna...
Yeah.
Oh no.
Is it like Dr. Soup in there? And that's what
she's just like looking up at like a horrifying like stain on the ceiling.
Oh no.
With just the jacket still on.
Yeah.
But there was a whole like siege on the prison that we kind of mentioned, but
big old shootout
isn't. Yeah.
This is also the episode where the Doctor eats Joe's sandwich, and then she's like, and hands out the rest of the pieces to everybody, and then she's like, "Doctor," and then he's like, "Oh," and just hands the empty plate. "I'm so sorry."
Joe's outfit in this one also killer.
Yeah, I like her suit a lot.
She has a lot of killer outfits. Like Joe's a little bit of a fashionista, not gonna lie.
Definitely. I mean, we still need to do that tier list video, gentlemen, or whatever.
Oh,
whatever
right.
we're gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, companion fashion.
Right. So let's see.
This is
so
when we meet
5?
the guy, the private secretary,
right.
or the Mr. Breakfast, Colonel
Yeah,
Breakfast,
Mr. Walker.
Walker.
Parliamentary Private Secretary Walker.
Nice.
So when this is where like the plot is like really, really thin.
Mm-hmm.
Because before Trenchard, the warden of the prison, dies,
Mm-hmm.
because the master like calls the Silurians, the sea devils, to him, and like they kill everyone in the prison. He makes a phone call to some minister, and then there's like he dies. So like obviously there's no follow up to it. But like, is this the why this guy shows up, or is it just because like? Because he mentions like reading like the unit files about the Silurians and like the doctor and stuff. So like I was just like, oh, okay, it's just kind of I don't know, like a coincidence that this guy shows up when he does.
Yeah.
I
He's
like
there
your
for the
theory.
toast.
Yeah.
Naval based toast.
Yeah.
So basically he shows up, takes over, and he's a warmonger, so he's like, we gotta blow up the sea devils.
That is true. I feel like the way that we're talking about him, though, it makes him sound more like a Doctor Strangelove than we're intending, because like this guy is like, he looks like a Paddington character. Like he's just
very cuddly.
Very cuddly guy, and he's very casual about all of this.
He's very like he's like bossy, but like he's posh about it. I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's he's got a lot of like dad vibes.
He's not aggro.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I think that's why it's off-putting. Where he's just like, we gotta bomb them.
How casual he is with like, you know, no matter how many good, you know, British men will die in the process. I'm like, whatever.
They know what they signed up for.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very like Jim Broadbent, like. Stiff upper lip, you know.
Yeah,
that's the gig.
Right. It's kind of this is going to be really weird, but I feel like the actor who plays Trenchard, he looks like Michael Gambon playing a Jim Broadbent character. This guy looks like Jim Broadbent playing a Michael Gambon character.
That's so weird, but yeah.
I got it. Yeah. This could be a very foolish question. Has Jim Broadbent appeared in Doctor Who?
Ooh,
I don't know.
There's like a random
obviously
episode where he's like,
obviously
I'm
Michael
the
Gambon
mayor.
has. Let's see. Has he ever
I'm the
been
mayor
in Doctor
of this
Who?
town.
No. The only thing he's ever done was play the 11th Doctor in The Curse of Fatal Death.
That's right.
Oh, whoa.
So nothing canonical.
Well, there's always next time. Maybe 15 will regenerate into Jim Broadbent.
I feel like that would make everyone happy. Like I don't think anyone would be upset about that. Like I just feel like, especially if he wasn't like around for a really long time, like maybe he was like a one season like in and out doctor, but like I feel like that would make everyone happy for a little while.
just seeing just Grandpa Jim Broadbent just go on some space adventures.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So in episode 5, the Doctor is basically kidnapped by the Sea Devils, taken to their base, where the Master is already. The Doctor is trying to persuade the Sea Devils to negotiate for peace because of what happened last time with the Silurians. And while he's in the middle of this, there's a bunch of stock footage. I love when Doctor Who uses stock footage. There's a bunch of stock footage of a lot of bombs being loaded and then unloaded from ships into the water. and the base starts shaking. They like accuse the doctor. They're like, yeah, see, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to attack the humans, and we're going to take over the earth.
Yeah.
And the doctor manages to get away. He finds the crew of the missing submarine. And they basically they escape the base, right? In this one. By blowing up like a cave wall, because the sea devils are using like a force field. So then they escape. The doctor goes back to the naval base and is like, okay, I just came from there. I'm alive, but I have to go back to persuade them that like they don't want to fight you guys. And as he's going to go do this, the sea devils have launched their own attack on the base, and
we've got
one appears and like it's got a gun.
Yeah,
so, like,
it's classic. Yeah. He's got a gun.
Yeah.
Except, it looks like a tile square.
Right.
Yeah.
With a handle. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one that's like a little like, this was the one for me that was like, I felt a little like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was just because of like the repetitiveness of like, yeah, no, I saw the Silurians. I know. We've all done this before. But to echo what Nick had mentioned about the patheticness of the sea devils, there is nothing sadder than watching them fall down. Watching them fall down and struggle to get back up is like one of the saddest things I've ever. It's just so pathetic.
I also don't like it when you see their carcasses floating across
no
the ocean.
Yeah. No, that's not good either. Oh, God.
I think the one that I feel the sorriest for is in episode 6, where like the doctor is testing that machine that he and the master are working on. We find out what the master's working on. The master's working on a machine because he's trying to he's basically helping the sea devils take over the earth out of spite because he knows the doctor likes the earth, so he's got to destroy the earth.
That's great.
And
I'm fully convinced, though, his only real plan, he's like, well, the doctor will clearly stop this, but I'll be able to escape from prison. And that's really all I care about.
It's the most convoluted way to get out of prison.
Yeah.
But basically he is working on a machine to help wake up all the other sea devils and Silurians that are still hibernating because the machine broke while they were sleeping. And so he shows the doctor his plans.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did them bad on purpose because he knew the doctor would be like, well, this is stupid. Like, you did this wrong. And like, so the doctor like fixes the plans and then like works on the machine with the master.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like testing the machine, but he plugs in wires wrong on purpose so that he like basically uses like a sound, like a sonic pulse or whatever to like knock out the Silurians and the sea devils.
He said he put the input in the output and the output in the input.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a long way of saying he reversed the polarity of the neutron flow.
The one in the room with them that's just standing there with his like head in his hands and his eyes bulging out of his head. I'm like, oh man, that poor dude.
I know.
For what seems like 7 minutes.
That's after we watch the doctor just like murder 3 of them with karate at the beginning.
Yes.
Oh man.
Just goes full on kung fu action grip on those motherfuckers.
They're millions of years old.
Yeah.
There is, let's see what else happened. Oh, the jet ski chase.
Oh
Right.
God.
Yeah.
So
The
good.
master is like, they're in the naval base. The sea devils are attacking them again, or like they've taken them hostage. The doctor sets off the machine wrong for Joe and Captain Hart, the captain of the naval base, to escape.
Mhm.
They bring reinforcements very quickly. There's a shootout on the beach. The master's getting away with the machine on a jet ski. The doctor follows him on another jet ski that just happens to be sitting there.
Yeah.
They go to the base.
The
The
chase scene,
Sea Devil's base.
the chase scene specifically, like we already mentioned the fact that like the master is a body double that's just like looking backwards the whole time so that we can't see his face. But then there's this other really great moment when a wave just absolutely blasts Pertwee in the face, like he just got soaked on Splash Mountain, and then it cuts out to another angle and he's completely dry again. I mean, the ocean just drops a bucket of water all over him.
It's karma.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The doctor and the master are down in the Sea Devil base. The private secretary guy orders a nuclear strike. And the doctor and the master, basically after they set up the machine to wake all the sea devils up, the sea devils are like, okay, well, we're going to throw both of them in prison. The master's big mad about this, by the way. And then the doctor basically tells the master that he's rigged the machine to blow, so they have to escape together. And then that's basically how this ends. Like, the Sea Devil base explodes. The doctor and the master manage to escape in like the equipment that was stolen from the submarine. The master like faints on the rescue craft.
Yeah, he takes a heart attack.
Yeah. And then there's like a body on a gurney.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Him faking a heart attack, was that part of the plan the whole time and why they were commenting on how he never exercises?
Oh my God.
Was he like setting up the heart attack gambit?
Maybe.
Like the whole time?
Oh man.
That's the long con, man.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. He did it. He really did it.
And then the ending of just the helicopter with the master ascending in the helicopter, practically just giving a middle finger to 3, and 3's just kind of like, it's slowly all hitting him.
Yeah.
That this was all just so he could steal a helicopter and not be in jail anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good. I wish after the sea base exploded that that's when the Brigadier finally shows up and the doctor was just like, "You're too late. I already did it.
I had to blow it up for you."
Yeah.
Huh. Oh. All right. He's got like a bandolier. He's like,
Yeah. Or better, he like shows up in like vacation wear, you know, he's like in like shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
He's got like the sunscreen
yeah.
thing on his nose.
Yeah, the sunscreen on his nose. Yes.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, this is just so much of what we have come to love about this chapter of Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, there's so many fun moments in this. This is just like loaded with fun moments. Just like all time Pertwee era classic moments. It's kind of insane.
I think that this is my favorite era of classic Who. Like, I've been sitting and like stewing with it for a while, and I always have fun. Like the clunkers are so clunky, but
I would hold that back until
fair.
we get through the next two stories that are like two of the worst John Pertwee stories of all time.
This is like peak though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's up there though. I mean, every time we get to 3 in Long Way Round, I'm always like, oh yay, like those vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that anything is going to quite touch this, like the early Fourth Doctor stuff for me.
Sure, yeah.
But no, this is probably like, this could be right behind it.
And you guys know I love Seven and Ace. I love that chapter of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is about to end this season. But yeah. That being said, the only era to me that gives those two eras a run for its money for me is the era we're about to get into with the Second Doctor.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the post Zoe era of Second Doctor is like, whew, that's good shit. That is good shit. So
that's because Zoe's awesome.
Yeah, Zoe rules. So we'll see. But yeah, this is definitely like one of the peak periods. Even if we're about to go through two just mind-numbingly awful stories. On the next two seasons.
That's 2025 next problem.
Yeah. But don't worry, Nick. There are also 6-parters.
Oh, good. Cool.
It's the mutants and then what?
Time Monster.
Oh, no. Fuck that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. In a row.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so here's my question that I want to leave us with, since this will probably be, this will definitely be, because it's the only time. This will be the last time that we talk about the Sea Devils before before the
reckoning
war.
of God in heaven or whatever.
Yes, the war between the land and the sea. Which we will probably just be covering on Patreon like we did with Class. Because that's where the Doctor Who spinoffs belong.
God, we watched that entire show.
We sure did.
Our finest hour as podcasters.
Yeah, we sure did. Now available for free on the Patreon. All stuff on the Patreon that's longer than a
if you
want
to hear the three of us just genuinely like lose our minds by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so knowing that that's on the horizon, what do you guys want from that at this point? Like, now that you, especially like Nick, now that you are now you have seen all the Sea Devil stories.
I'm an
I think
expert.
It's just,
there's a Fifth Doctor one.
Is there? Oh
yeah.
Wow. Okay, great. I don't know if I remember that one. But okay, so you've seen the most important ones, the most recent one, and then the original. So what are you hoping to see out of that story?
On the horizon, like a sea devil on a ship, looking out.
Yes.
I think they fixed the way they look in 13's episode. I remember
they look the same.
Well, I remember it working for me.
Okay.
I don't remember that being an issue that I had. I mean, the idea of these, pathetic little like guppy monsters having like some dignity and pathos is exciting to me. I truly don't really. So there's a part in this episode where it almost becomes like a naval battle, like a run silent, run deep kind of vibe, between the Sea Devils and man. And like that'd be a cool vibe, like almost like a thriller, like a Cold War thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. I am okay. I'm starting to get I'm a little I can't find reference to the Silurians being a part of that story about the war between the land and the sea.
Oh, is it just Sea Devils?
It's just Sea Devils is what I'm seeing. So already I'm disappointed, to be perfectly honest.
Is it like a direct sequel to this?
I don't know, but it's supposed to be like the land in question are humans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was Silurians. I was kind of hoping for like a Silurian like a Silurian sea devil team up. They're like, hey, we've both tried to conquer the world separately. What if we team up and conquer it together?
So it's a
I thought that
five-part.
would have been cool.
It's a 5-part series.
Yeah.
When a fearsome and ancient species emerges from the ocean, dramatically revealing themselves to humanity, just like they did in this one, an international crisis is triggered. With the entire population at risk, UNIT steps into action as the land and sea wage war. So perhaps maybe the Silurians could team up with the humans?
Yeah, I'm just not seeing any reference to the Silurians at all. Why did I think that that's what it was?
Probably
I don't
because
know.
like land and sea.
I guess so. Yeah. All right. Well,
But it's 5 episodes.
I'll be curious to see what they shorter than Class. I'll be curious to see what they like, if they tweak the Sea Devils at all, like in terms of their vibe, I guess. You know, like if they're going to modernize them a little more than they did in Legend of the Sea Devils, which they barely modernized them at all.
Mm-hmm.
One's got a little cigarette hanging out of its mouth now.
Great.
Oi.
I don't really know, what else there is to say about them especially after rewatching this.
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I might rewatch the Easter
Let-
one
Yeah.
just as like a refresher. My expectations are pretty low for War Between Land and Sea. I'm mostly just excited to podcast about it.
Yeah, I honestly, it must be, there must be something really special about it, because I don't know why it would have gotten greenlit otherwise.
Who's writing it? Do we
Russell.
know? Oh, okay. Well,
I think he wrote
There
every
you go.
episode.
I trust him.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wrote every episode. Like, I'm wondering if this is going to be like low key, like almost like actually this probably means nothing to either of you, unfortunately. But I'm wondering if it's like a sort of companion of sorts to Torchwood Children of Earth, which is like,
I watched Children of Earth.
oh, you did watch that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen all of Torchwood.
really? Even the Stars
Yeah.
season?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm the opposite.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. The Torchwood, the Stars season that ends on a cliffhanger that will never ever be resolved.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm wondering if it's going to be companion to Children of Earth, like Children of Earth, like the best Torchwood season, like arguably the only good Torchwood season.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's very good. I just don't like. Do you mean like in terms of its tone?
Yeah, tone. How it's
Okay.
like feels like a big like event.
Because
thing.
that's a very bleak
Yeah,
story.
it is
So-
bleak, but it feels like a big like important
Like an event.
event, you know.
Yeah.
And that was also 5 parts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It would be cool if just like if like instead of a full-blown unit spin-off, they just do these little unit miniseries every once in a while.
Is it set in modern day?
Yeah, cuz
Kate's in it.
yeah, Kate's
Okay.
in it. Yeah.
And then like not Martha?
Right.
And-
not
and not-
Martha's sister and not captain of the Titanic or whatever. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
I maybe hoping for like a Sea Devil monologue.
Ooh. As long as they don't talk like this. I don't remember what they sound like.
I don't remember.
I'm the one that can talk like this.
Yeah, the effect that the warbly effect that they put on their voices, I'm just like, the whispering is entirely unnecessary. Like the whispery slow talking on top of the warbly effect. Just talk normal and then have the warble. Like, that's enough.
But then we'll sympathize with them too much.
Oh God.
They get riddled with bullets and
Yeah.
garage
God, why
shop.
is this so sad?
Oh man.
Oh my god. Okay. So now I'm just thinking about like someone giving like a crazy monologue about like the bleakness and like futility of warfare while like these fish people are just getting like blown to bits.
Look at what we've been reduced to. What heaven are we fighting for?
Oh, my God. That's
I'm
good.
sure it'll be fun.
Well, next week, we're back with the Fourth Doctor in the penultimate Sarah Jane story, The Mask of Mandragora. I have little to no memory of this one, to be perfectly honest. I feel like what is it called? The Evil Hand, the Hand of Evil. What is the next or final one? What is it? Hand of Fear.
I think it is Hand of Fear. Yeah.
Hand of Fear. Yeah.
Hand of Fear and then Face of Evil. That's why.
Oh, okay. But I feel like Hand of Fear and Mask of Mandragora, like they kind of just like merge together in my mind for some reason, and so I don't really know which is which. So yeah, but
I like the
Mask
evil
of
hand.
Mandragora. Yeah, the Evil Hand. Mask of Mandragora is next week, the penultimate Sarah Jane Doctor Who story.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know.
Gonna miss her.
We'll be saying goodbye to her very shortly, but then we'll say hello to her again on the Pertwee, on the Pertwee side of things.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
There's that. But yeah, that's next week, The Mask of Mandragora, and I guess that's it. We'll talk to you then. Bye, everybody.